guys, welcome back to another episode, and today I'm going to be telling you how to do better in Murder Mystery on the Hive Bedrock. Now what I mean when I say do better is just overall do better. It's self-explanatory, okay. So I'm going, basically this video is going to be split into 3 different parts. It's going to be tips on how to do better as a innocent, so like me right now, how to do better as a sheriff, and how to do better as a murderer. So I'm just going to start off with tips on how to do better as an innocent. Now, how to do better as an innocent, basically your goals are just surviving. So you can do this a couple of ways. You can get a bunch of coins and get a bow and then try to protect yourself, like I am currently doing, or you can just hide. Now I have a video that has done pretty well on hiding spots in the Hive, so if you want to check that out, I'm going to link that in the description, and that will help you in that aspect when it comes to hiding. Now, the next way that you can do well as an innocent is to get a bow. Now, the reason that this is important is if you don't have a bow, you won't be able to shoot the murderer. And if you can't shoot the murderer, you have literally no way of defending yourself, which is not very good and probably won't end very well for you. So, what's something that you should do is I suggest always getting at least 10 coins. As soon as you get 10 coins, you get a bow with 1 shot. Then you can either continue running around like I am, or you can hide in a place, and if you see the murderer, you can shoot them. Now, something that you want to do is as soon as you see the murderer, so earlier I saw the murderer in this room, but I've already forgotten what they look like. If you see the murderer, run the opposite direction. Unless you have a bow and unless you're feeling brave, chase the murderer and try to kill them. If you don't want to do that, like I said before, you can always just either hide or you can hide. Those are always options that work, and I have won many a round by just sitting put. Now, I already have 30 coins, so there's no reason for me to collect any more. Now, as you can see, all of these players seem to have bows, except these two, but they're just going to sit here not doing anything. So, if the murderer comes into the room, they're probably going to get shot from 3 different people, meaning that it'll be easier to eliminate them. So, basically just this point is safety in numbers, and it works. Something that I highly do not suggest is all sitting in the very same spot, like we are. Try to spread yourself out across the room. That way, if they take out one of you, the others will see it. Because if you're all just standing next to each other, they can just sneak up, and they can just pull out their sword and just bang, bang, whack, kapow. And boom, they win, and that's not something that we want. So spread yourself out, try to get a bow, and then you can also still hide if you so desire. Now, we're just going to let this round play out so I can demonstrate some of the tips for innocence. As you can see, I've already collected the max amount of coins, so there's no reason for me to leave this area or this spot to go and get more coins, because I don't need to. But if you don't have a bow, oh look, there's a murderer right there. So if they try coming in, they're going to get shot by me and that guy. Now I'm distancing myself a little bit away from him, so if he misses and he dies, I won't be right next to him, and I won't die. Oh, that guy. What? Oh. Yeah, see, they all ran in and they all just kind of died because they just kind of stood there. See, so that's why you don't want to rush the murderer. Ah, yeah, throwing knife. And that is why you also want to keep moving, because if you stay in the same spot for too long, you will die. Like, it's not even a question. The murderer's going to find you and they're just going to stab you because you're not doing anything. So that's basically it for the innocent tips. Moving on, I'm now going to be talking about tips as the sheriff. Speak of the devil, that is actually good timing. Something you want to do as the sheriff is I highly suggest not holding your bow out in front of everyone. Now, this may seem a little bit weird, like wouldn't you want them to know that you're the sheriff? No, you do not want everyone to know you're the sheriff. Now, the reasoning behind this is the murderer, in the first, like, probably 30 seconds to a minute of the game, no one else has a bow except the sheriff. The sheriff is the only one who spawns with a bow. Everyone else has to collect 10 coins to get a bow. So, if you're a murderer, you're going to want to eliminate the sheriff as soon as possible, because for the first little bit of time, they're the only threat. So if you're parading the fact that you're a sheriff, you are going to be the biggest target in the entire game. But if you're not holding the bow, as far as the murder is concerned, you're just another one of the 15 innocents that are alive, meaning that you will be much less of a target if you're even a target. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you will never die if you're the sheriff if you don't hold out your bow. I'm just saying that you're not going to be targeted because you were holding the bow out. And that logic, I feel, is pretty self-explanatory. Once everyone else has about 10 coins, or you've collected a fair enough coins, or other people start to have bows, you can take it out, and now you just look like another one of the innocents that don't have a bow. But the difference between you and the innocents is you have multiple shots. Zapper takes a couple seconds to cool down, and then you can shoot again, meaning that you have multiple tries to get rid of the murderer, while innocents only have one. So just kind of walk around, look for the murderer. If you see him, good, try to shoot him. If you miss, move away out of the range of his throwing knives and sword, because if you die, you're dead. Someone else will be able to pick up the sheriff's bow, but you'll be dead. Something that's interesting is if you are just an innocent and you hear that the sheriff has died, you're going to want to try and find the sheriff's bow, for the main reason that if you have the sheriff's bow, you now are basically the sheriff, meaning that you now have more power than you had previously. You now have a chance to eliminate the murderer, and unlimited chances to eliminate the murderer, which, actually, this is interesting. I didn't know that you could see the walls here. This must be a glitch, but this is actually kind of a fun place to just look through. Yeah. As I was saying, you do not want to die. If you do die, then you're going to have to pass on the responsibility to someone else. If you die, that's unfortunate. See, this person has a bow now, so if that guy's the murderer, he won't be able to tell between us two which one of us is the murderer. He'll have no idea. He could try killing both of us, and he'll then get us both, but if we're distance apart, like I mentioned with innocents, as I mentioned with tips for the innocent players, chances are you're not going to be eliminated immediately just because you're not a target. That about wraps it up for tips for the sheriff, and this round still has a little bit to go. I'm just going to cut it. Oh, someone actually died for the first time in forever. Interesting. So just to quickly recap tips for the sheriff, do not hold your bow out as soon as the game starts. Wait until other people start having bows, other bows start popping up, then take it out, and then you can show them that you are the sheriff. If you are an innocent, try to get the sheriff's bow, and be wary because the murderer will probably be guarding it because they don't want anyone else to be the sheriff. And with that, we're going to move on to tips for the murderer. Okay, moving on to tips if you are the murderer. Now, I know I'm not the murderer and I'm currently an innocent player, but I don't really care, and I need to record the segment, and it's going to take too long to wait to become the murderer. So, murderer tips. How do you win as the murderer? Well, pretty simple. You do that. That's a pretty good way. That's honestly a pretty good way to play as the murderer. So I'm already dead, but I'm just going to continue talking because I can. So, as a murderer, you do not want to start by immediately pulling out your knife, for the exact same reasons that you don't want to start being the sheriff by pulling out your bow. Now, the reason you don't want to just pull out your knife immediately is because then people will know that you're the murderer, and that's not something that you want, because then you lose the crucial element of surprise. As you can see, I died right here because I had no idea that he was right there. There was absolutely nothing I could do in that situation. So that was quite a smart IQ play by the murderer. Now, what you want to do as a murderer, furthermore, what you want to do as a murderer actually, is you want to try to single out different targets. Now, if you just run into a room of people and just start swinging around your knife, you might get lucky and you might actually kill all of them. But chances are one of them is going to have a bow and one of them is going to shoot you. So, if there are many people in the room like this, I wouldn't just take out my knife and just kill these two players. I would wait until those people are not watching what I'm doing. Then you just quickly kill the players, switch it back to your offhand, and just walk away and do the classic whistling while walking away as to pretend that you have no idea what's going on. The reason that you want to do this is you don't want to attract attention to yourself. Because if other players realize who the murderer is, they're going to start conversing in chat, saying who's the murderer, and then the sheriffs will know, and everyone else who has a bow will know. They'll describe your skin, like, hey, it's the king's skin, everyone shoot him. And then they're going to know that you're the murderer. And then all of a sudden, you have 7 players ganging up on you, all with bows, trying to shoot you and ruin your day. And that is why you do not want to pull out your knife as soon as the round starts. Throwing knife. Throwing knife is very, very important. This is a way that you can get targets from far away. So if someone has a bow and they're aiming it at you, running in with your sword is almost 99% of the chance going to get you guaranteed killed, unless you can strafe and they're a bad shot, but chances are you're going to die. So with throwing knife, you just position yourself, you can look around the corner, maybe go into F5, and you just throw the throwing knife, try to hit the target from far away, and that's that. Or you can try a different approach, going around and trying to catch them off guard. Once again, element of surprise is crucial. Now, as you can tell, I know a fair bit about this game, and hopefully all of these tips that I've given you help you be a better player at this game. I will quickly just recap all of the tips just at the end of the video, just to make things easier. So if you're an innocent, you're going to want to collect coins and hide and try to survive and just stay away from anyone who you think could be the murderer. As a sheriff, you're basically going to want to do the exact same thing until you figure out who the murderer is. Then, unlike the innocent, you're going to want to stop hiding and go and try and kill said murderer, and not get killed in the process. As a murderer, you're going to want to try to eliminate targets who are by themselves. So this person, for example, just eliminate them, that's one less person to worry about. Try to eliminate the sheriff as soon as possible, if it's early in the game, because then that's the only threat to your power. Also, try and start killing players quickly. I've seen many murderers wait like 2 minutes into the game to start killing anyone. No, that's not a very good approach. You want to give yourself as much time as you can, meaning that you want to do what I do, and by that I mean start killing players in the first 10 seconds of the game. And that overall is just kind of how you can become a better player in Murder Mystery, win more games, level up quicker, and get more XP. Later on sometime I'm going to make an episode on how to get XP. I know I did a guide on Murder Mystery XP, but I'm going to do a different one on easiest ways to level up within Murder Mystery. So stay tuned for that, and with that, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.